Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us on AFR Talk, in for Brian Fisher on Focal Point. You know, just yesterday, the president, who was too busy to visit with world leaders at his visit in the UN today, did make time to sit down with the ladies of the shrews. I mean, the View. And he spoke with the shrews, the ladies of the View, and in speaking with them, they talked about such important things as how good he looked and the fact that he was eye candy and I don't know, some other weird stuff. And I'm sitting here going, sorry, is the Middle East completely on fire or what? Do we have like anti-American protests going down, losing ambassadors, Navy SEALs getting killed? And you have really important people that are all part of that story, all meeting in the UN and running these sessions these next few days. And you have one of the really bad actors, Mr. Ahmadinejad, there, and you've got someone who's been the staunchest ally we've ever had in Benjamin Netanyahu, and you're talking to Whoopi. I just, I don't get it. I'm not a politician. I'm not an elected government official. I don't understand how they think sometimes. 888-340, I'm sorry, 888-589-8840. That's the number, 888-589-8840. Toll-free call. Let's go to line 4. Harold's calling from Oklahoma. Hey, Harold, welcome. You're on Focal Point. Kevin in for Brian today. Hi.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure thing.
First, I just want to send a special prayer out, let Brian know I'm praying for him here in Oklahoma. He gets better.
We'll do that.
Not that we don't like you being on. We love you being on. I just hate that he's sick. As far as what the president has said to the at the UN, there's really not too many words I can use to describe it other than just makes my heart sick for my nation. I can say that if I was to go before the Lord tonight, I can say honestly I did not vote for him, and I would not vote for him this time. I did have high hopes that when he got elected, as a lot of people I know did, that he would turn out to be better and I think have more character than he's shown. But I would just like to say this. I believe that he and the other people, Hillary Clinton, other people, I think that they knew long before the deaths occurred that they needed to do something, and they didn't do it.
Well, what's interesting about that, Harold, if I can just interrupt briefly, is if you look at the reports from everywhere, from the Jerusalem Post to the Daily Mail, paper out of London, and other places, you have people on the record that said, no, Libya told people as many as 7 days out and as short as 2 days out, and we kind of confirmed at least 3 days out, that there was contact made with U.S. State Department officials and others saying Benghazi in particular is a hot spot. And Mr. Stevens wasn't even in the country when these warnings were being given. He had gone to, I don't know if it was Germany or somewhere, to give a speech at a function of some sort. And he was en route back to when most of these warnings came across. And the fact that we just kind of yawned and stretched and looked the other way, I don't know if it was because we didn't think that anything would happen, if we just honestly said, there's no way that this could possibly go down, or what. But I do think that the ambassador's family has a real legitimate question to put to the administration and say, what did you know and when did you know it?
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And one other quick thing I was wanting to make a comment on. He has repeatedly, or his administration has repeatedly brought up the fact that they got Osama bin Laden. And my personal opinion is I'm surprised they didn't tip them off that the SEALs were coming, that the force team was coming in. I'm that convinced that he has no moral character or no love for this nation, or he wouldn't be doing some of the things and in closing, I'll say this, Kevin. My dream is a guy, I would like to be able to buy a place at the lake and have a boat and just fish, in my closing days on earth if God allows that. But I would take that money, and I would, instead of doing that, I would buy a billboard off I-40 near Oklahoma City, and I would put, "Get us out of the United Nations now, before it's too late." That's all I'm going to say. And again, I'll be praying for Brian to get better. Thanks for taking my call.
That's interesting. Thanks for the call, Harold. Appreciate it. 888-589-8840 is the number. 888-589-8840. It's a toll-free call. And I do want to know this. There is this group of people that are putting forward this idea of these ban on the insults to the Prophet Muhammad. You could hear crickets chirping today when the president said at one point, that's why the United States will do what we must to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And he paused, like as if there was going to be like some sort of like applause. Nope, it was just crickets. Just like that. There isn't any global agreement with the president, and he continues to kind of pretend like there is. This is what I don't understand. Is it, and maybe you can help explain it to me, is it fundamentally the core of who he believes himself to be, that believes that if I go and I give a speech that things are going to change? Don't get me wrong, I love good oratory. I'm a huge fan of Winston Churchill. I've read a lot of the stuff that he said in his life in public speeches over the course of his life. And I believe that speeches can do great things and can inspire people in some ways. And I believe that sometimes they are so motivational and they are so inspiring that they cause people to do. I think of the Winston Churchill, "We will never surrender," when he was talking about the British Isles, fighting the Nazis as the Germans continued to bomb London. It was this kind of dogged determination. But what I don't see with this particular batch of oratory that the president gives is anything that is inspiring for the cause of what is great about America. He talked about how even American values aren't really American values, they're global values. Friends, if they were global values, there would be no need for American values. The reason that they're not global values is because America is different, and there's something exceptional here that the rest of the world is still trying to figure out. I don't believe Americans have the corner on morality per se, or even freedom. But I think that what we've done with freedom and using freedom to advance the liberation of people and the advancement of an independent person's relationship to one's God, I think is astounding in terms of world history. And we just don't seem to have anything that comes from today's current leadership that says America is great and therefore it must continue to lead. We took pride in the fact that when we went into Libya, we were at the back of the bus. We were leading from behind was the famous phrase that came out of that. I still to this day don't understand what that is. And when I looked at the Middle East exploding on our TV screens a week ago, I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute. Where is our leadership? Why wasn't he on the phone with the leaders of Libya and Egypt saying, you turn over the people who did this now? I don't know. It's hard for me to figure out. Let's go to line 2. Jane is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Jane, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough, in for Brian Fisher on Focal Point. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'd like to agree with the gentleman just before me. It's time for us to get out of the UN and for the UN to get out of the United States. You know, and Obama doesn't believe that the United States is different. He had two goals before he took office. One, to destroy our sovereignty, and two, to make us equivalent to a third world nation. And he's pretty well done it. That's not what I called in about. What I called in about is I wonder how many people are aware that all of our Congress, they took an oath to uphold the Constitution. And the Constitution demands that a budget be passed annually. And this is the 4th year with no budget. I think it's time to fire the whole stinking bunch and make sure that they don't get any of their retirement. for the rest of their lives because they haven't earned it.
Jane, I'm assuming you're voting on November 6th.
You bet your sweet dippy. I've worked in the polls for 35 years. This will be my 36th year, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you for helping other people exercise their constitutional responsibilities. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jane. Let's go to Amanda calling from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Hey, Amanda, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough, in for Brian Fisher on Focal Point on AFR Talk. Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, yes, I just wanted to call and exercise my free speech and my right as an American and say that I believe there's one true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He sent his son Jesus to die on the cross to save me from my sins. And I'm not ashamed of that, never will be. And I will not bow down to these other religions. I will not embrace them. And God is in control of everything. We're wondering, why is this happening? Why is that happening? He's the author of the beginning and the end. He knows all this that's going on. It's going on for a reason. And we just need to keep looking up. We need to pray for the ones that know that he's Lord and not be ashamed of it, even if it means they're going to behead us, they're going to kill us for our faith. Our souls are going to go be with the Lord. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'll tell Barack Hussein Obama in his eyes, bow down before the Lord or you're going to hell. That's just my opinion.
All right, Amanda. Passionately worded. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to line one. Noah's calling from Oklahoma. Okay as well. Hey, Noah.
Hello. Yes, sir. I was listening to the man you had on, the Muslim.
Yes.
And it made me think maybe he's a little bit backslidden because he's saying that about the beheadings and things. I don't think he knows his Quran. I think he's a little bit backslidden there. I think he's kind of dropping the ball because a good Muslim is hostile towards anyone that's not. I read a good book recently that was by a former terrorist. His name is Waleed Shobat. I encourage everybody to get that book. It's called God's War on Terror. And the reason he got saved was because he started looking into the Bible, and he saw that God's Word was a 180-degree negative of the Quran.
To the Quran. No, I appreciate the call. That music means we're out of time. Thank you for being with us. It's Focal Point on AFR Talk. The phone line's open, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Stay with us. Kevin in for Brian on Focal Point AFR Talk.